Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And this is, just to give some news in regards to what's going on between the U.S., the EU, and Russia. Because now that you got Trump, who's deciding to sit down and have a peace talk with Russia over the Ukrainian war. It got these European leaders, bugging the hell out, and they melting down. You got Zelensky, throwing his little tantrum, throwing his little fit. He even made mention that without the U.S. Aiding them, without their support, he feels as though Russia is gonna basically run a play on NATO. Because we know that the beast is not as strong without the horde's support. So this is what they're bugging out over. Trump saying that basically this shit is pointless. Everybody on both sides is taking L's. So we might as well just stop this altogether. And the EU is like, what are you talking about? We've been getting our asses whipped, losing a lot of soldiers, a lot of men. We've had to send old men, to this war. And now you're gonna pull out, you're gonna pull away. So it's interesting, what's happening, and I'm curious to see how this is all gonna unravel. All right, because we know what the prophecies say concerning the beast and the whore. There's a couple of scriptures that come to mind, but this is from Kim Iverson. It was posted 2 hours ago. EU leaders freak out over Ukraine peace talks, demand more war. All right, so, and this shows you that Esau, as long as he's in power, the world will never know what it's like to be peace, because it will always be war. That's just how this man is. That's his nature. He's driven by that sword. And a matter of fact, just to start off, let's go to Revelation 6:4. And it reads, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna amplify it in the Amplified Bible, and it says, and another a fiery red horse of bloodshed. And Esau is definitely a bloodshedder. He's scripture said because he haven't hated, he doesn't hate blood. He doesn't hate to see blood spilled, because he did it to us. He did it to Israel. It says, and another a fiery red horse of bloodshed came out, and his rider was empowered to take peace from the earth, so that men would slaughter one another, and a great sword of war and violent death was given to him. And that's why ultimately the World War III is going to transpire. You're going to have the final world's war, woe, the third woe. All right, which the scripture said in the 11th chapter, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Woe, disaster, sorrow, war, and the stage is being set for it. All right, so while Trump and Russia is trying to come to some peace agreement, Europe is like, nah, we didn't went this far with it. It's bloodshed on both sides. Why should we end this war? So I'm gonna just hit the play button so y'all can listen. All right, and then we'll get a few precepts.
So tomorrow, Marco Rubio and his envoys sit down with Russia's Lavrov and his team to begin the peace talks. And Europe is freaking out after being told they won't have a seat at the table. General Keith Kellogg, Trump's special envoy for Ukraine and Russia, said all of their concerns will be known and addressed as well. He says, I don't think it's reasonable and feasible to have everybody sitting at the table. We know how that can turn out, and that has been our point. He says it's keeping it clean and as fast as we can. Right. I mean, if you get all these Europeans to the table, I mean, look at how many leaders there are right now. They're convening in Paris. They've been convening in Paris, sitting around screaming about, oh my God, they're going to end the war. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Imagine having all of these people at the table alongside the United States, alongside Zelensky, and then you've just got Russia, the one country Russia. Now, Europe might look at that and say, well, that's the point. We want to have all of us against them so they understand the power and the might. But I mean, that's just for what? To continue the war, because that's what you guys are all saying. In fact, they've convened all of these. These are the leaders of Germany, the United Kingdom, Italy, Poland, Spain, the Netherlands, Denmark, and the EU. They all are meeting here in this picture at the Elysee Palace for talks on Europe's security quandary. They're saying, what are we going to do? The United States is no longer our biggest ally. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte was also there in that meeting. Ursula von der Leyen, she's right there in the front. And she says, I mean, get what she says. She says, today in Paris, we reaffirmed that Ukraine deserves peace through strength. Peace through strength. That means peace through war. Continued war. Does that make sense? We want peace, war. That's how we're going to get peace. She says, peace respectful of its independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity with strong security guarantees. Europe carries its full share of the military assistance to Ukraine. At the same time, we need a surge in defense in Europe. So again, just the irony of this.
In other words, we're not going to have any peace until we actually win. All right, until, we defeat Russia completely, there won't be no peace. That's basically what, that's how you can interpret that. All right. And these are, this is Esau clashing. All right. This is Esau divided, like the scriptures say. Kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And, the EU, which is the beast, America, which is the great whore, they supposed to see eye to eye. They're allies, but not in this instance. And these type of things are happening, and it's causing a shift in relationship, between this alliance. It's driving a wedge between the two. So we're gonna see, the oncoming events. We're gonna see what it all leads to. But when understanding the prophecy, something has to happen to where the EU is gonna get so pissed at America that, when it's all said and done, they're gonna turn on America. All right. The prophecies say that the beast shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. So something's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a complete fallout first. All right. I believe there's a scripture in Jeremiah where it talks about how the mother, which America got to start from Great Britain. Basically Britain mothered America. But it's going to be a point in time where she's gonna be ashamed that she bore you. This is Jeremiah 50:12. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded; she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert." which, you know, America's going to be turned into a wilderness, a desert, a wasteland. You know, after these nations, you know, get done with her. That's talking about America. So Britain, Germany, France, all them European countries, you know, they're going to be ashamed, you know. And this is why it's been a growing sentiment of you know, self-sovereignty and, you know, trying to do things without US input, you know. So since they've been talking like that, Trump is on some, well, yeah, y'all got it then. We don't need to be over here and this, you know, continue to shove all this money your way for this war that you're not winning. You're wasting money. But ultimately, you know, the Most High is he's throwing that friction in there because prophecy has to be fulfilled. You know, like the scriptures say in Proverbs 21, you know, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Most High. You know, and you know, like the river of water, he turneth it whither so he will. So, you know, we're gonna see. So let me continue this video.
And we need peace through strength, which means peace through war. We're going to beat you into submission. And then when you finally are beaten into submission, you'll be peaceful because you'll be too afraid of us. And that's what we're going to that's what we're doing. That's the whole point of peace through strength mentality, rather than actually, you know, just like having peace talks, which is what the US and Russia want to have. So they're all just on full on freak out, meltdown mode. In fact, UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he's prepared to send British young men, British troops to Ukraine to die in those fields. Watch this.
Good evening. I want to thank President Macron for convening us this evening. At stake is not just the future of Ukraine, it is an existential question for Europe as a whole, and therefore vital for Britain's national interest. This is a once-in-a-generation moment for the collective security of our continent. Only a lasting peace in Ukraine that safeguards its sovereignty will deter Putin from further aggression in the future. Our recent statements by the US administration should not come as a surprise. President Trump has long expressed the wish for Europe to step up and meet the demands of its own security, that he wants to get a lasting peace agreement to end the war in Ukraine. So today's informal meeting of European leaders was a vital first step in responding to that challenge. On defence, it's clear the US is not going to leave NATO. But we Europeans will have to do more. The issue of burden sharing is not new, but it is now pressing. And Europeans will have to step up, both in terms of spending and the capabilities that we provide. On Ukraine, we're at the very early stage of the process. Europe must play its role.
And they're going to be paying a hefty penny. They're going to be paying a hefty penny, man. Because Russia is massive. You know, their military is massive. You know, they ain't even begin to bring out the big stuff. You know, they've been fighting you off with old shit, the little stuff, and was still able to successfully, you know, take some of those Ukrainian cities. So it's going to take a hefty penny, and I know they're not going to like that. You know, they're going to feel, you know, a form of betrayal from the U.S., you know, but Trump, when he was in office the first time, he was getting on NATO about not contributing their end to the GDP. He was always criticizing them for that. So now he's like, he get back in there and like, yeah, we finna sit down and talk about this because you know, this is getting silly, you know. But something's gonna give, something's gonna happen. All right, and because their priority right now is handling Israel, handling Palestine. All right, that's pretty much what it is, and Iran happens to just be in the way. So that's really their priority. So the EU, they're upset. They're throwing a little tantrum that they're getting put or placed on a back burner, so to speak, while they still, having hostile, tensified situations. All right, but anyway, let's listen to a little more, and then we'll get a few more pre's and close out.
And I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground alongside others if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again. So I will go to Washington next week to meet President Trump and to discuss what we see as the key elements of a lasting peace. I spoke to President Zelensky on Friday and will do so again in coming days. And we envisage a further meeting with European colleagues when I return from the US. In this moment, we have to recognize the new era that we are in, not cling hopelessly to the comforts of the past. It's time for us to take responsibility for our security, for our continent. And I've been clear today, Britain will take a leading responsibility, as we always have, because Ukraine must have a secure future, Europe must have a secure future, Britain must have a secure future, and democratic values must prevail.
Okay, so he says the U.S. has said they're not going to leave NATO, but we still have to step up. We have to pull our weight, and that's something Trump's been saying this whole time about NATO. I mean, really, he's tossed around leaving NATO, and then when he was in his first term, he started saying, "Well, we just really want all of these European nations to start stepping up. They need to spend more of their GDP on NATO. Can't rely on the United States. The U.S. is really the ones funding it," and he's right on that. But I just want to get out of NATO entirely. I don't see the reason why the United States, all the way on this side of the world, with an ocean between us, is in a security guarantee that says we will be there by contract for you if all hell breaks loose. No, that should be a choice. That should be a choice. We should decide whether or not we want to go to war each and every single time. It shouldn't be by contract. I don't know why that's even controversial, why people want to stay in NATO at all. People are saying, "Oh, no, we got to stay. We got to stand by our allies." That doesn't mean we're going to abandon our allies. We don't have this same contract with other countries that we would still absolutely go and show up for. I mean, look at Israel. We don't have any of these types of contracts with them. They've got a lot of blackmail on us. That's a little bit different for a security guarantee.
No, because the U.S. got to kiss the ring. That's why. All right, Israel is her pimp. They got to kiss the ring. So, yeah, they don't have to be bound to no contract. All right, they freaking own you, pretty much, and they don't have the same. I'm talking about the U.S. I feel as though they don't have to have the same obligation, for their European counterparts. So this can get very interesting, man. All right, and all we can do is just go by what the scriptures say. Let me get this in 1 Thessalonians, because they calling for peace right now, but we know how things get. All right, because then Russia can start. The bear, comes out, because I could see one of them NATO countries doing something to piss them off, and so the bear comes out, and now Europe is threatened, right? If the U.S. basically stands down, and if he Trump stands on his square, I could see Europe turning on America completely. All right. I can see that unfolding. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:2. It says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." So that travail is gonna hit, because war is gonna take place. All right. The Lord talked about wars and rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, earthquakes in diverse places, pestilences. He said all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, it's all part of the algorithm, all right, leading up to the final world's war, the third woe. The second woe is past, but the third woe cometh quickly. All right. And y'all already know Revelation 17 and 16. The beast shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. So that's going to be the end result of all this. They're going to get tired of holding their weight over there, and America doing what they doing. And you can kind of already see it. And then you can hit Obadiah verse 7, where it talks about they that were confederate with you, that were allied with you, they're going to set a trap for you. Obadiah verse 7, it says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Yeah, you're not gonna understand. But we know. This is all to destroy Esau. Get his ass up out of power, man. Let y'all destroy each other. Because your world is getting ready to pass away, and Jacob is the beginning that's going to follow. A new age, a new period. So this is getting good, all right? So I'm going to just end off right there, and hopefully y'all edify them, give all praise to y'all, Bashim Yahshua, Shalom.